That is a very interesting meal. Where is the protein? That is so interesting. See, that is so cool to me. I expected more, I'm not gonna lie. What are we doing? What are we doing here? What is up? Welcome back. Today I'm reacting to a video titled What School Lunch Looks Like Around the World, Europe versus America. This could be interesting, and I'm excited to see what this is about because I know what the American school food is all about. What's up? My name's Aaron. I'm an American discovering Europe one video at a time. I want to know everything about each country, the people, the culture, the food, the history, the sports, the music. I want to know it all, and that is exactly what I'm doing on this channel. I post videos every single day, so make sure you hit like and subscribe. You're going to see another video just like this one in the future. But now let's get into this school lunch. Let's go.
Whether carrying a brown bag from home, picking up a tray from the lunch person, or serving up the food themselves, lunchtime at school can be one of the most important parts of a child's day.
Wow, this looks so different than anything I've ever had.
Let's take a look at what kids around the world eat for lunch. French students can expect up to a 4-course meal at lunch. They begin with a salad of fresh veg, followed by quality protein like salmon with a side of roasted broccoli. They wouldn't be French without a course of soft cheeses, jam, and fresh bread. And kids finish with a sweet confection like marzipan before heading back to class.
You're kidding. The French, in style, have something delicious. I mean, that looked amazing. Salmon and broccoli, are you kidding me?
In Japan, kids aren't served healthy meals, they serve them. To teach healthy cooking, kids take turns helping to cook, serve, and clean up for their peers.
What? That's the most Japan thing ever. Like, I've heard that Japan is like this. They're very, very well put together, very structured, and this sounds like a good way to do that, honestly. This looks delicious, too.
They're heavy on rice, vegetables, and fish. Students in Nigeria are fed well-balanced meals each day. Meals could include smoky, tomatoey jollof rice with chicken and steamed veg.
Looks good.
Finland was the first country in the world to provide free lunch to every student, and
Finland, first country in the world to provide free lunch to every student. All right, that's something I can respect and get behind.
Lunch has high nutrition standards. Veggies like beetroot salad and roasted turnips take up at least half the plate. Starches and grains such as a crepe topped with slightly tart lingonberry jam take up 1/4, and a protein.
Hold on, I just gotta start this plate. My Finnish friends, what are we seeing here? Is this a very traditional plate that you would eat? I've heard of the soup before, and the lingonberry, I've heard of that too. I also see some dry crackers there. The beetroot salad sounds delicious. What is the thing right here with the jam on it though? The lingonberry jam, what is that? Just another piece of toast, or what is that?
Starches and grains such as a crepe topped with slightly tart lingonberry jam take up 1/4, and a protein such as varenyky, a split pea soup topped with smoked ham, takes up the other. Crisp bread is served on the side.
Looks good.
In South Korea, students eat off steel trays sectioned out for perfect portion sizes.
What?
The bigger section is for rice, the circle holds soup, and the smaller portions are for tangy, spicy kimchi, some veggies, and meat like marinated strips of pork shoulder called jeukbokkum. With a large
amazing.
Orthodox population in Ethiopia, meals are largely plant-based. An array of foods like spicy lentils, zucchini, and yellow split pea soup called kik alicha are eaten with injera, a fermented flatbread.
What?
Thanks to the island's burgeoning farm-to-school program, kids in Hawaii can expect meals made from scratch with local, fresh ingredients.
Okay, Hawaii's on another level than where I'm from. I'm from Georgia, and it is not like this. It is not like this at all. Yeah.
Such as a chicken stir-fry with veggies and fresh-baked bread on the side.
Whoa.
Ukrainian kids get their lunch in 3 courses. First, a soup course such as borscht, a hearty beef-based soup with cabbage and red beets to give it a vibrant color, followed by meat and starch like grilled sausages with potato and cheese-stuffed dumplings called.
Whoa, interesting. Okay, dumplings. Wait a second. Hold on. I'm gonna go back because she's gonna tell us what those are called, but that is a very interesting meal. We have a beetroot soup, we have a sausage, cheese dumplings, and looks like a pickle. Ukraine. Very interesting.
Called varenyky, followed by meat and starch like grilled sausages with potato and cheese-stuffed dumplings called varenyky.
Varenyky. It looks like a pierogi from Poland.
Finish sweet with a shortbread biscuit. A lunch tray in the US could include a gooey grilled cheese on crunchy whole grain bread with creamy tomato soup, carrot sticks, fruit like a box of raisins and an apple, and a brownie for dessert before heading back to class.
That's so real right there. We got a brownie, we got a milk, raisins, apple, and some tomato soup that needs a lot more love than it gets. Where's the protein at? Where is the protein. We get a grilled cheese sandwich. That grilled cheese, by the way, both sides of that bread are incredibly buttery, which makes it good, but not as healthy. Low-fat milk, apple. I mean, of every dish you've seen so far, you can't look at me with a straight face and tell me that's not the most undelicious or not as tasty one that you've seen. I mean, that's just sad. Come on, let's be real.
Italian students run to the cafeteria to receive a 2-course meal, and if these kids reside in Rome, the meal must by law be 70% organic. Primo is the pasta course, while protein and a veg like grilled chicken with a tasty mozzarella and tomato salad is served for secondo.
All right, that's special. I mean, obviously, Italy's known as like the best food in the world, right? Yeah, that looks amazing. And in Rome, 70% has to be organic. That is so interesting and so amazing. I actually did a video on Rome recently. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful city. I mean, I imagine if you're from Rome and you call yourself a Roman, you probably don't like as many tourists as you have. But how could you not visit and love such a beautiful, beautiful city?
According to the World Food Program, Thai students receive the most nutritional lunches in all of Asia.
Yeah,
Kids can expect a balanced meal like grilled chicken, rice, and an antioxidant-packed spicy sweet green papaya salad.
Yes.
Families in China pay a monthly fee of about 70 cents per day for children to receive a boxed lunch. Inside, kids can find rice, meat, and vegetables.
Okay.
Food is a constitutional right in Brazil, which means schools are
A little omelet action.
required to provide students with healthy meals with 30% of ingredients sourced from local farmers. Kitchen staff cooks fresh foods like frittatas loaded with veggies, paired with hearty rice and beans, and a piece of fruit. Kids in India show up to school with a tiffin box, a stackable metal container filled with a home-cooked meal. What's inside depends on the region.
Interesting. Okay, so Indian people, I guess, always bring their own food to school. Indian students, they don't have served lunches, I guess. And it depends on the region. I mean, that makes a lot of sense too, but it's interesting that everyone brings a home-cooked meal.
Northern Indian kids might enjoy parathas, seasoned flaky bread accompanied with bundi raita, crispy gram flour balls floating in a sea of spiced yogurt.
Looks good.
Kids in Guatemala go home for lunch, where they'll eat dishes like pasta in a tomato sauce with beef.
They go home for lunch. See, that is so cool to me. They go home for lunch. I guess the parents also go home for lunch, maybe. That's why the kids can go home for lunch too. That's really cool.
And tortillas. With classes 6 days a week, school in Israel finishes before lunchtime, but kids do bring a shot isser.
Hold on a second. There's a lot to unpack here. 6 days a week you have school in Israel. That is interesting. But you finish before noon every single day. Okay. I'm trying to think if I would like that or not. It doesn't make traveling as easy, I guess, as a child, because you have to miss school more. Because like you can't go on a weekend trip, for example, because you only have one day off. But finishing before noon is really enticing. I mean, my school schedule, I haven't told you yet, but my school schedule was from school started at 8:15 and we finished at 3:20, I think. 8:15 to 3:20. I also had like workouts and stuff like that before school. So I was at school by 7 pretty much every day. And depending on the season, I was there at 5:30 for sports. So a little different, but wow, 6 days a week. That's really interesting stuff.
A morning meal, which could be a small snack like pita with hummus and a hard-boiled egg.
Wow.
Kids in Trinidad and Tobago might be served rich and gelatinous oxtail stew for lunch paired with bussup. Soft.
Whoa, oxtail soup. Stew, looks like. That looks delicious.
And flaky shreds of roti. Students in Hong Kong can expect a veggie like steamed broccoli alongside wok-fried pork slices and white rice. A kid in the UK might be served baked cod fingers with a hot jacket potato, a heaping side of beans, and a handful of chocolate biscuits for dessert.
It doesn't get more British than that. That is amazing. You know, one thing I've enjoyed on TikTok in the past couple of years is I've seen every once in a while, there's this food truck and it serves this potato and it's called a Jack and Potato or something like that. And they serve these hot potatoes and they just load it with like beans and cheese and butter and I forget what else is inside, but it's just full of goodness. And the first person every day at this cart, or how do you call it, food truck, gets the potato for free. So those videos are really cool, but the line is insanely long. But apparently the British really love a stuffed potato. Like if those beans were inside, and now obviously they love their fish and chips too. So wow, that's pretty nutritious looking plate there. I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't look my favorite out of all the ones I've seen, but I would eat everything on that plate 100%.
In Mexico, Mexico, instead of a meal, kids might bring along a morning snack such as a torta, layered with spicy bean dip, sliced ham, tomato, and fresh, crisp lettuce.
Interesting.
Australian kids eat lunch outside, bringing food from home or buying meals from a cafeteria or street vendor.
All right, that looks interesting. Australia, I kind of expected more, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little disappointed by this Australian meal.
Food can include classic takeaway comforts like a sausage roll, pork sausage wrapped snugly in puff pastry, with a couple sweet chocolate biscuits called Tim Tams for dessert. Norwegian schools don't have cafeterias, so kids bring a light lunch from home, which could include
Hold on, Norwegian schools do not have cafeterias.
an open-faced sandwich with liverwurst, a sausage of pork liver blended with bold spices like cardamom, coriander, and mace. The meat's texture is almost spreadable, close to pâté, and is accompanied by toppings like mustard and cheese. Milk and
Norway, what are we doing? What are we doing here? I have never in my life had a liver salami. I guess that's what you would call that. Yeah, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Is it good, by the way? I mean, I would try it 100%, but when I think of Norway, I don't think of a liver sandwich. I think of like fish or something like that.
And fresh fruit is provided by the school. Although students bring a home-cooked lunch daily, teachers in Pakistan are known to contact parents if meals don't err on the healthy side. Kids might bring a borscht, a stew of lamb and potatoes paired with roti and a sweet and creamy mango lassi in the summer.
Wow.
So, which type of school lunch do you want to try? Are there any we missed? Let us know in the comments below.
Not gonna lie, I loved the Italian, Ukrainian looked good, Finnish lunch looked good. Also, the Asian ones looked delicious to me, specifically Japan, Thailand, and South Korea. Those meals looked really special. The Hawaiian meal also looked good, but the US in general was terrible. Australia, really disappointed, I'm not gonna lie. And Britain as well wasn't my favorite. Also Norway, a bit shocked by that. I expected some fish and veggies and something really, really healthy, but that's not what we got. So anyways, are these accurate? If you're from any of these countries, could you let me know if these are accurate? Because I don't know anything about, obviously, the meals in the schools around the world, but I found this video to be really insightful and interesting, and I hope you did too. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit like and subscribe so you can see another one just like this. If you want more behind the scenes of my week, I write about that in my weekly newsletter, so you can check that out down below. Also, if you want behind the scenes videos from reactions, my personal life, and travel, I have a Patreon account where I put all those kind of things on there, so you can check that out also down below. And as always, I gotta give a shout out to my channel members. Channel members, you mean the world to me. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey and supporting my channel. It really, really means so much. So thank you for doing that. And I got to ask you, if you have any video recommendations, make sure you drop those down below. I'm always looking for those, and you're so helpful. So thank you with that as well. I hope you enjoyed the video wherever you're watching this and whenever you're watching this, and I hope to see you in the next video. Cheers.